Now, Marvel's done some pretty crazy crossovers in the past, but this one just might take the acid-blooded cake. In the Aliens vs. Avengers 4-issue miniseries, Mr. Sinister ends up becoming the host for a Royal Facehugger, making himself the incubation chamber for Xenomorph Queen, albeit with a sinister twist, pun intended. And guess what? This particular queen, who the Avengers and the X-Men refer to as a he, by the way, instead of a she, had the abilities of other mutants, such as Nightcrawler and Colossus. So this queen could teleport as well as turn his body into steel. It's a bonkers marriage between mutant villainy and sci-fi horror, and we're sure even Rick and Morty haven't pulled off something this crazy, and it somehow works without feeling like a total facehugger fever dream. So in this video, we're going to explore everything there is to explore about this Mr. Sinister Xenomorph Queen, from his origin and powers to his biology and what it took to take care of him, and much more. Oh, and we'll also talk about the Venom Alien King, because we know you want to hear about that. But before we begin, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Those 2 small clicks from you will help us tremendously in bringing you more of these marvelous videos in the future. And now, we're ready to explore the Sinister Queen, but before we do, we think it would be best to give you a brief rundown of what went on in the comic and how it led to the birth of the red biomechanical superpowered queen. The backstory. So, in the comic miniseries, Earth is devastated after David, the synthetic from Ridley Scott's later Alien prequels, comes from his universe to ours and unleashes aliens. Somehow, a middle-aged woman could defeat an entire hive of aliens and kill their queen with a bloody power loader, but an entire army of Earth's superheroes, including the Avengers, X-Men, and all of the other mutants, couldn't stop the threat. While you let that sink in, we're going to move forward. The Earth was devastated, covered in alien hives. An elderly Captain America and Hulk stay behind protecting a small group of survivors, while Miles Morales, Tony Stark, and Carol Danvers take a ship filled with another group of survivors so that they can start civilization on a different planet. Oh, and by this time in the future, Wakandans had learnt spacefaring and built a huge intergalactic empire in the far reaches of space. However, during liftoff, Stark's generation ship was damaged and they needed to fix it. The only place that could be done was on the mutant colony of Arakko on Mars, where the mutants had gone after the Xenos plagued Earth. But as it turns out, the condition of Mars wasn't much different from that of Earth. Aliens had taken over the mutant population, while some were facehugged and eventually killed, others were kidnapped and placed in the hive for future impregnation. One more thing, a few mutants like Manifold, the White Queen, Armor, and of course Wolverine had survived on Mars. The sinister origin of the Alien Queen. Now, amidst all of this, Sinister and each of his clones came to respect, embrace, and even worship the Xenomorphs, so much so that they became willing hosts for Royal Facehuggers. This is also the reason why the Xenos didn't attack the Sinisters. Much like what happened with Ellen Ripley once upon a time, the Xenomorphs spared and even protected the Sinisters because they had a royal chestburster growing within them. However, Sinister did his thing, genetic tinkering, and ensured that the Alien Queen embryo was kept dormant, meaning the chestburster was taking longer to develop than usual. In Aliens vs. Avengers number 3, Jonathan Hickman brings Xenomorphs crashing into the Marvel Universe. Rather than running from the alien threat, Sinister decides to embrace it. As shocking as it was, Sinister's strange mind made him believe that this was the way for humankind or mutant kind to proceed. He's all about evolution, and the Xenomorphs are undeniably the perfect killing organism. He essentially weaponizes the Xenomorphs by turning his own clones into incubators for alien queens. In fact, he even uses what looks like a repurposed t-shirt gun to fire facehuggers at his enemies. And that's over the top. I mean, the man found a way to one-up David in the mad science department. What we do appreciate about the comic is that it's grounded in the lore of both universes. Hickman's story cleverly ties into Alien Covenant and the broader alien mythology, and even the engineers from Prometheus appear in the story. Sinister even revives his infamous Bar Sinister cloning lab and paints it with the bio-horror that the Alien franchise is famous for. So, if you ignore the failure of Earth's superheroes, who by the way defeated Thanos and his army, you'll enjoy this story. We get the engineers as cosmic creators colliding with Marvel's genetic supervillain. Anyways, eventually the time comes. The time that all the Sinisters had been waiting for, and a Red Queen is born, complete with Sinister's diamond symbol on her forehead. How much time did the Queen take to mature? In the first hour after bursting out of Sinister's chest, the infant Queen looked hardly more than a meter in length. However, as time passed, it started to grow rapidly. By the 4th hour after chest bursting, the Queen looked like her adult self, albeit smaller. Interestingly, it kinda seems like the young Queen fed on Sinister's body, because even in the 4th hour, she was on top of Sinister's corpse, and we don't think she was trying to embrace his body, so the only logical reasoning is that she was feeding on it. By the 12th hour, her back developed more, and the following day, which is after 24 hours, she had grown into her full size, which was at least double the regular black drones that crowded her. Her monstrous majesty's appearance and biology. So what does Mr. Sinister's alien queen actually look like? In essence, she's every bit the nightmarish xenomorph matriarch you and I know. She's huge in size, dwarfs nearly everyone present around her, and has the same biomechanical build, of course, with an elongated head and slavering jaws. The comics didn't change the queen's appearance much. Why mess with perfection? But yeah, she was slightly more humanoid than the queens we've seen in the movies, games, and comics. Intriguingly, the queen didn't have the designer headwear that she usually does, and her skull was more similar to a regular drone's. Elongated and, penis-shaped. Of course, she was also all red and had the extra set of inner jaws poised to bite a victim's face off. And while her demeanor is all things deadly instinct, she's not some mindless beast, much like her cousins from the wider alien universe. In fact, the queen seems to be able to smile or grin. Now, that's fairly creepy, but it's true. Clearly, Sinister left his mark on the queen, or rather, the queen adopted some of Sinister's psyche. If that is in fact the case, this fits with the larger alien lore, which suggests the chestbursters adopt a bit of their host's behavior and personality. For instance, we know that pred aliens are also into collecting trophies. Another interesting bit is that she killed the other Sinister clones, although they all had the royal chestburster developing inside them. It seems logical because the queen wanted to eliminate any possible threat to her authority, so she killed the threat in the crib, actually kind of before the crib stage, honestly. What are her powers? A standard Xenomorph Queen is bad enough, but Sinister's alien queen went overboard as far as powers are concerned. The Red Queen could teleport, possibly a power she got from Nightcrawler's DNA, which could have been a part of Sinister's DNA at that point. Stealing the genetic abilities of others and manipulating them into new creatures is kind of his MO after all. In the 4th issue of Aliens vs. Avengers, Logan asks Manifold to drop him on top of the Queen because Logan knew that killing the Queen would eliminate the entire Xenomorph threat at best, throw the drones into chaos and anarchy at worst. So, Manifold does what Logan asks, but as soon as the Queen notices Logan, she simply vanishes into thin air, leaving Logan stunned. He dreaded the thought of that deadly creature popping in and out of thin air like a xenomorphic Nightcrawler. Let's be honest, this ability does add a whole new meaning to checking the corners. On top of that, the alien queen could also turn her body into metal, much like Colossus, another ability she must have received thanks to Sinister's DNA splicing day job. The Sinister Queen teleported inside Armor's psionic armor and eviscerated. When Captain Marvel saw Wolverine, Armor, and Emma Frost fail to kill the Queen, she goes full supernova and tries to, as the Mad King would say, burn them all. However, the Sinister Red Queen pulls a Colossus, and while a part of her brood burns, she survives. Now, you have to note that Sinister has a plethora of mutant DNA strains in his body, so we're assuming that the Sinister Queen also had several other powers borrowed from other superheroes. However, we don't get to see those powers, because what we do see is that she has a form of mental or telepathic control over her brood, and she directs her drones and warriors to do her bidding. But then that's the case with all the queens, isn't it? How do you kill the Sinister Queen? Bringing down a monster of this magnitude is no small feat, although Ellen Ripley did do it once with relative ease, given our heroes were shitting their pants and not getting any closer to defeating their enemy. Having said that, Mr. Sinister's alien queen may be supercharged, but as the saying goes, if it bleeds, we can kill it. And this is where the Venom Alien King comes in. That's right, nobody expected much from the grumpy symbiote, but he turned out to be humanity's secret weapon. It all started in the 2nd issue of the comic book when a facehugger attacked Miles Morales, who was already bonded with Venom. When the facehugger did its thing, Venom left Morales and bonded with the facehugger to save him. Next, it bonded with Morales again as the Venom facehugger. Oh, and it's one of those rare instances where a human got facehugged and lived to tell the tale. Turns out symbiote trumps parasite. In Aliens vs. Avengers number 4, a dying Iron Man sees their only chance and asks the Venom facehugger to facehug him, and the resultant chestburster leads to the Venom Xenomorph King, luckily a friend of the good guys. In his battle with the Sinister Queen, the Venom King uses his symbiote to go inside the Queen, hijack control of the parasite, and venom burst from the inside out, kind of like what many of us wanted Ant-Man to do to Thanos. With the Queen gone and the King alive, Venom effectively gains control of the entire alien horde and puts an immediate end to the carnage. The surviving heroes pack up and prepare to track this xenomorph threat down to where it came from. Unfortunately, that's the end of the miniseries, and unfortunately, that's all we got for you folks this time. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.